What's up, y'all? It's your boy Carcino here, and y'all didn't even know the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight is quietly being negotiated. A lot of people are not privileged to be with that kind of information, but I am. And now, you finna hear it live. Stay tuned. Now, Arum Espinoza last week during his social media rant claims that Manny Pacquiao was offered $40 million plus 35% of the upside, and that you turned it down. Now, I wanted you to get your thoughts on that. And
Arum Espinoza has played absolutely no role in any talks about a Pacquiao Mayweather fight. Furthermore, as of the end of last week, he has been instructed not to say a word at all about anything to do with the proposed Pacquiao Mayweather fight. Other than that, I have no comments on Arum Espinoza and what he said, because my point is that he is out of the loop as far as this project is concerned.
And that's all we needed to know on that notion there, and I'm glad we cleared that up. The man had a reputation in the past of not being truthful and telling a lot of half-truths. So now that the public...
aside from that, you don't have... All I'm saying is whatever he was quoted as saying is nonsense, because he has had no role in the discussion, and he's been specifically told not to say anything at all in the future about any discussions regarding that fight.
Is this due to his social media rant that he did last week?
I have no idea, please. I'm just telling you what the situation is. That is the facts on the ground. Okay. What it's due to, what it isn't due to, is not for me to say.
Right. Okay, now let's move on to the main event that we got coming up this weekend. Now,
right.
Everyone is saying that Chris Algieri is basically a closer fight than what the odds are indicating. So my thing is, why is he 12-1? Which I don't understand how he could be 12-1 underdog to Manny Pacquiao. But if the scales are so competitive between each other, like
understand how odds work. Odds work based on what the public bets. Now, Pacquiao has tremendous fan support, particularly in the Philippine community. And if they place bets on Pacquiao, that tends to raise the odds on him. And since Algieri is not a Mexican, and he doesn't have a competing fan base, the people who are betting on Algieri are much smaller group than those betting on Pacquiao. That's all the odds mean. It has nothing to do with who is a big favorite, who is going to win. It's just based on the action that the books are getting on both fights.
Oh, okay. Because I remember I was listening before when Madonna was like a 12-1 underdog with Mayweather. You know, and it was like, this guy's 12-1. You know, like why we want to see that fight? And you know, when it was 12-1 with the odds.
Because the odds do not determine how close or not close, or how competitive or not competitive a fight is. It only is a snapshot of how people are betting. Okay,
that's fair. And now let's look at like with Terrence Crawford, for instance. Now the fight with him and Beltran, to me, is one of the most evenest fights you can get. A lot of people don't know that Beltran is very seasoned, very professional, and a tough fighter. I've seen him spar in the Wild Card Gym before. He's incredible. I think he's one of the most underrated fighters of probably of all time. I've seen him beat Ricky Burns. I thought he won that fight, and now he gets to fight Crawford. Yeah, and now he's fighting Crawford for the title. I just don't think Crawford should overlook this guy because he's on top right now.
Terrence Crawford is not the kind of kid, not the kind of fighter that's going to overlook anybody. Crawford and Beltran is a highly competitive fight. There'll be a tremendously large audience in Omaha the week after the Manny Algieri fight, and I'm looking forward to being in Omaha a couple of days after Thanksgiving to watch that fight.
Oh yes, and then what's the possibility of a Juan Diaz fighting the winner? That sounds to be an intriguing fight. The baby bull.
Well, that's a possibility. Juan Diaz, I have great respect for him, and that'll depend on whether Crawford decides to go up in weight. He's talking about moving to 140, so we'll have to see.
Okay, and then the fans also want to know about Nicholas Waters versus Lomachenko. I get that every day. Someone asked me if that fight's going to happen, when it's going to happen. It's going to be fireworks, and I'm like, yes, it will be.
Yeah. Well, Lomachenko has a tough fight on Saturday against this Thai fighter who was, I think, 52 wins. The only loss he had was a few years ago to Kirsten. And he's a terrific fighter, the Thai boy is. And that should be a good fight. And if Lomachenko wins that fight, I think he will fight again in the first quarter, as will Walters. And then if they're both successful, we'll make Lomachenko against Walters early summer of 2015.
With this event here, will we be seeing like more, besides Manny Pacquiao, will you be bringing like, say, Miguel Cotto to China someday, bringing more events to Macau?
Whatever works, but obviously, because we're in China, part of our program is to develop Chinese fighters, because that's what the Chinese public wants to see, Chinese fighters. So we have Zhao Shiming. If he wins the fight Saturday, he'll be fighting in February for a world title against the IBF champion, who'll be at ringside on Saturday. We have I.K. Yang, we have Rex So, we have K.K. Young. We have a lot of good Chinese fighters that we're putting into these slots. And you're going to see more and more of these slots filled with Chinese boxers.
Okay, well that's great, because I know you got Chinese fighters, you got Japanese, and it's like Top Rank's gone international. So
yeah, well that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so
Backbone
yeah,
is Chinese fighters.
Yep, and I'm like, is we gonna see like a world like the Olympic tournament with just top ranked fighters, where everybody's fighting each other? Is gonna look like the world tournament again?
Well, we're going to do the best fights we can. We expect to do 4 or 5 events a year in Macau, and maybe 4 to 6 events on mainland China in 2015. So that's a lot of boxing, and opens spots for a lot of fighters around the world.
Now, your website, that your Top Rank TV, had the best format I've ever seen of a boxing website. Because even if you wasn't, yes, because even if you're not there, you get to see all of the undercards. You get to watch it right there on the website, and that is a tremendous idea. And now I'm seeing now that more television, CBS and HBO, are kind of pulling away from cable, and they're going to be streaming now, where people can go to Netflix.
That's correct.
Yeah, and they're going to be streaming.
That is the future.
Right, and everybody's going to be going towards more the streaming network. Have you guys like been formulating more plans to get more like television dates on like the networks like CBS and NBC?
No, because again, that's not
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you guys do a tremendous job. I have to applaud that effort. I push it every time a Top Rank event comes on to go to Top Rank TV, because you get to see all these fighters develop right then and there, like Felix Rivero, and you get to see all the fights on the card.
Yep.
And that is amazing. So even if you couldn't,
Okay.
if it wasn't, the fight wasn't in your town, you still had the luxury to see all of the fights that was on the card.
That's correct. That's correct.
So I thank you for your time. I know you're busy. You guys got to set up and get things ready out there in China. So
yeah. Okay.
I appreciate it. You have a great day.